ERC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the Weather Xtreme video from ABC 3340. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and let's roll back the clock for just a moment. Here's an image yesterday afternoon, a visible image of Tropical Storm Arthur moving across the southern Yucatan and weakening as it's overland. And then let's go back to yesterday afternoon, and thanks to Kelly Guthrie for sending in this image, the last sunset of May. So welcome to June. And now let's look at the Skycam image from Clanton, and we have a beautiful sunrise, even though just to the north of central Alabama, we have some showers and thunderstorms occurring. How about this shot from Tuscaloosa? We see a few low clouds this morning, and then the sun glinting off a few clouds as we look to the south-southwest from Mount Cheaha. Speaking of the tropics, here's the way it looks this morning. Arthur is still a marginal tropical storm. I think they're maintaining the strength of it, even though it is over land. Here's the infrared image, and most of the convection is away from the center, and most of that convection actually out over the water at the moment, but certainly producing heavy rains and winds that are believed to be sustained to the vicinity of tropical storm force. And here's the projected track and intensity of Arthur. And so it's still some question about the Bay of Campeche, but it does look like it's going to stay over land and should remain a depression. Now, here's the satellite and surface frontal positions for today, for this morning, and we have a weak front, cold front, stationary front, frontal boundary, whatever you want to call it, just to our north that is going to be the focus for showers and thunderstorms for the next couple of days. And at the 500 millibar level, the ridge is migrating a little further back to the west, and that is allowing a trough to develop on the east coast. And as that trough intensifies just a little bit, it's going to nudge that front down into the area where I think it'll wash out by Tuesday, but it looks like for Sunday and Monday, it will be a focus for showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here's the temperature map. Very warm across the United States, especially across the southern or southeastern two-thirds of the country. Across central Alabama, temperatures hovering primarily around 70, although we see a few upper 60 values. I see Anniston and Alex City both with 68 this morning. QPF-wise, not a great deal of precipitation, but being forecast for the next 5 days, and most of that coming on today and Monday. And here is a look at radar for this morning, and you can see a lot of showers and thunderstorms and a very large complex over parts of middle and eastern Tennessee that is moving down into northern Georgia. Of course, that could have been just a little further to the west, and it would have been affecting Alabama. So we talked about the possibility of some large clusters in the flow. Storm Prediction Center outlooking a large band along that frontal zone for today for the possibility of a slight risk of severe weather. And currently there are, it looks like, hard to tell exactly the number here, but I think there are 3 severe thunderstorm watches in effect across central and southeastern United States. Day 2, the severe weather threat shifts a little further back to the west. Day 3, it shifts back into the Ohio River Valley. And then for days 4, 5, and 6, we're back into the Central Plains for the possibility of severe weather. So certainly an active weather pattern for the next several days, even though for the next week is not going to be too active in central Alabama. Here's the 500 millibar pattern for today at midday, 1 o'clock. You can see that ridge migrating a little bit further to the west, and there's the frontal zone primarily across Tennessee, but of course I think we'll see isolated storms kicking off ahead of that front. The front remains in the area on Monday, and I think actually it looks like a pretty good threat of rain on Monday. The ridge flattens a bit, but also it flattens to our west, but also kind of noses back in on Tuesday, and with that, the GFS is drying things out, and I think that's possible. I do think there's always going to be, with this heat and humidity, there's going to be the possibility of isolated storms. Not much change as the main westerlies are to our north. You can see a frontal zone across the Ohio River Valley where the main threat for some active weather will be, and it stays that way through Thursday, the 5th of June. By Friday, the ridge is really over the eastern third of the country with a substantial trough along the eastern edge of the Rockies and the western central plains, you might say, and that is where the focus for weather is, with just some isolated showers in the southeastern U.S., and that pattern remains with us through Saturday and through Sunday, although the GFS is showing, once again, a little nervousness with kind of a broad area of lowered pressure between two ridges in the upper atmosphere over Florida and the southwestern Atlantic. Now, go out on Voodoo Land. This is the 12th, Thursday the 12th, and it looks like a big ridge in the central U.S., and with that, not much to talk about except the possibility of scattered afternoon thunderstorms. And by way out in the end of the period, the 16th of June, Monday, it does look like a little bit of troughiness once again on the eastern half of the country. And with that, it looks like a little bit of unsettled weather, but mostly of the showery nature. Well, certainly appreciate you tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. I'll be filling in for Jason this coming week as he takes a little time off. So be sure to catch Good Morning Alabama from 5 to 7 a.m. and then the midday show from 11 to 12. Hope that you have a great Sunday, and God bless.
Weather.